Before we crack open tonight's cursed can of content, I just want to say a big thank you to all our subscribers, and an extra Sinister shout out to the loyal members of the Sinister Elite. You legends help keep the darkness alive. If you're enjoying the stories and want to take it a step further, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and consider joining the Sinister Elite by clicking that join button below. Members get access to creepy custom emojis and exclusive Sinister Elite badges that level up the longer you survive with us. It's like loyalty, but spookier. All right, lights off, headphones in, and let's summon something we'll all regret. So there I was, unemployed, mildly hungover, and out of options, when I saw the ad on Facebook. Amazon delivery driver, night shift, immediate hire, $27 per hour plus keep the van overnight. Now I'm not saying I'm desperate, but I once interviewed for a job cleaning bounce houses after birthday parties. This looked like a godsend. I show up to the warehouse in joggers and a SpongeBob hoodie, fully expecting a real HR person to laugh me back to the parking lot. Instead, some dude named Kyle, with monster energy eyes and a Bluetooth in each ear, handed me a vest, a key fob, and a folder labeled Midnight Manifest, Do Not Lose. "Van 22's yours," he said, then leaned in like he was giving me state secrets. "Check the glove box before you start. That route has quirks." I figured he meant potholes or maybe a nosy HOA. Whatever. I needed rent money and some dignity back. The van was a dusty white Amazon Sprinter with a cracked side mirror and just enough air freshener to hide a dark past. I hopped in, tossed the folder on the passenger seat, and pulled out of the lot with my playlist blasting. Classic Limp Bizkit because I'm healing. The first couple of stops were easy. Drop packages, snap a picture, avoid eye contact with people in robes collecting mail at midnight. You know, suburban weird. Then I remembered Kyle's warning. I opened the glove box at a red light and found a yellowed paper folded into fourths. It looked like it had been soaked in coffee, or blood, not gonna lie. Across the top in Sharpie it read, "Rules for Van 22, Midnight Manifest. If the GPS reroutes you to a location that isn't on your manifest, ignore it, even if it keeps rerouting, especially then. If you hear breathing in the back of the van, do not open the cargo doors. Deliver the red package last. No matter what. If you see another Amazon van following you, take 3 sharp rights and then park. Never ever deliver to house 44. There was a 6th rule, but it had been torn off. Great. I chuckled. It had to be a prank from the day crew. This is the kind of crap they pull when they're bored and jealous of my night owl vibe. Still, I glanced into the back through the mesh divider. It was quiet, for now. Things started getting strange around 11:42 p.m. The GPS pinged and said, "Next stop, 13 Vulture Hollow Lane." That address wasn't on my list. I checked the manifest twice. It jumped again. "Turn left onto Vulture Hollow Lane in 600 feet. I slammed the brakes. "Nope," I muttered. "Not today, Satan." I rerouted manually to the actual next house, 312 Maple Crest. The GPS glitched, flashed red, and screamed, "Recalculating," in a voice that sounded way too raspy to be Alexa. I shut the tablet off and drove in silence. At the next house, I grabbed 2 packages, both addressed to a guy named Clarence Wendell. One box was normal-sized and smelled faintly of laundry pods. The other was wrapped in red paper, not red tape. Full. Red. Paper. It pulsed when I touched it, like it had a heartbeat. I shoved it to the back of the cargo area and muttered, "Red package last." Got it. As I walked toward Clarence's porch, I heard something move inside the van. It sounded like a deep, wet inhale. I froze, 1 foot on the step. That better be the wind or I'm leaving this thing right on the damn porch with a Yelp review attached. I tiptoed back to the van and pressed my ear to the cargo door. Silence. I knocked once. Still nothing. "Rule 2, I whispered. "Don't open the cargo doors." I gave the door a little tap 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 just in case. That's when something from the inside tapped back. 3 times. I sprinted into the driver's seat like a kid avoiding basement monsters and peeled out of there like it was Mario Kart. At 12:11 a.m., I hit a stretch of dark road near the edge of town. Streetlights flickered. A fog rolled in from the woods. And then, like some kind of cursed magic trick, another Amazon van pulled out behind me. At first, I thought it was just a coworker, but it had no headlights, no driver silhouette. And when I slowed down, it stayed the exact same distance behind me, 20 feet. No more, no less. I remembered Rule 4, 3 sharp rights, then park. So I hit the first right. The van behind me did the same. I took a second right. It followed. Then a third right onto an old dirt road next to a cemetery. The fog thickened. I parked, shaking. The van behind me didn't turn. It kept driving straight, right off the road, and into the trees. No brakes, no noise, just gone. I sat there breathing like I'd just run a marathon in a sauna. That's when the glove box popped open on its own. The paper flopped out onto my lap. Rule 6 had reappeared, no longer torn. 6. If the glove box opens on its own, you have 13 minutes to deliver the red package, or it will deliver itself. I turned around slowly. The red package was now in the front seat, and it was smiling. So there I was, sitting in a foggy dirt road next to a cemetery at 12:16 a.m. with a demonic red package in my front seat, grinning at me. Not metaphorically. This thing had actual creases forming a smile across the wrapping paper, like it was being stretched from the inside. No mouth, no eyes, just a knowing smirk, like it had waited all night for this moment. I muttered, "Nope. Nope. Big bag of nope." The glove box was still hanging open like some creepy puppet jaw, and the rule sheet glared at me from my lap. If the glove box opens on its own, you have 13 minutes to deliver the red package, or it will deliver itself. Now, normally I just chuck this cursed origami box into the nearest lake and go home to microwave taquitos, but I'm on probation, and another job screw-up means court-ordered retail. I once stocked shelves at a Family Dollar for 8 weeks as punishment. Never again. I punched the gas and the van fishtailed back onto the road. The GPS had powered itself back on and now pulsed a red glow like the devil's Fitbit. Next stop, 44 Marrow Drive. My stomach dropped. Rule 5, never, ever deliver to house 44. "Hell no," I whispered, wiping sweat off my brow. I tried to reroute. The screen glitched and spat out static. I tapped it like an old TV, then straight up slapped it like it owed me money. Nothing. The red package started humming. Not like a pleasant hum. More like a broken washing machine full of bees. All right, I shouted at it. "I'm driving. Just stop vibrating like that." It stopped immediately. Great. It understands me now. That's comforting. I hit the main road and passed a Waffle House that was somehow still open, but even the cook was staring at me like I was hauling something cursed. Maybe because I was. Marrow Drive wasn't on the official map. I had to follow the GPS through an unmarked access road and under an overpass that felt like it hadn't seen light since Reagan was in office. Finally, I saw the sign. "Marrow Drive, private road. Trespassers will be absorbed," I whispered. That better say arrested. It didn't. The houses here weren't normal. They were too tall, too narrow, like they were built for someone with extra vertebrae. And they all had the same thing on their doors, etched into the wood with scorched, curling edges. 44, every single one. I drove slowly past the first, then the second. Each time I looked at a house, its porch light clicked on. I don't scare easy. I once wrestled a raccoon off my grandma's porch with a broom and a shot of Fireball. But this was unholy. I kept going until I saw a mailbox that simply said, "We've been expecting you." The van shut off on its own. The lights cut, and the red package opened itself. Not unwrapped, opened. The top peeled back like a blooming flower, revealing something inside wrapped in black cloth. It squirmed. Not a lot. just enough to let me know it was alive and displeased. The van doors in the back slammed open. I hadn't touched anything. Rule 2. Don't open the cargo doors if you hear breathing. I hadn't opened them. It had. The whole van vibrated with a deep rumble, like the bass from a concert 2 towns away. I turned, slowly, and saw a long, pale hand reaching through the mesh divider. Long fingers, no nails, too many joints. It tapped the divider once, then twice, then pointed at the red package. "Nope," I croaked. "You want this? You come get it." The hand retracted. Then the driver's side door opened itself. A wind blasted through the van even though the night was still. The smell of salt water and cinnamon filled my nose. Don't ask me why. I panicked and grabbed the red package. It felt heavier now, like holding a bowling ball full of guilt. As I stepped out, the gravel crunched beneath me, but not like normal. It echoed, twice. One for me, and one for something else. The house in front of me had no windows, just a solid black door with the number 44 carved clean through it. The door opened as I stepped onto the lawn. I held the package out. Special delivery? The house groaned like it was exhaling. A shadow stepped forward. I can't describe it properly, but if shadow people exist, this one was a middle manager. It was wearing an old Amazon vest, name tag still dangling. "Deliver it," it growled in 1,000 whispers. I tossed the package onto the porch like it was a live grenade and booked it back to the van. As soon as I slammed the door shut, the van roared to life. The glove box slammed closed. The GPS reset, and the fog vanished like it had never existed. Rule 3. Deliver the red package last. Guess I broke that one. As I drove away, my phone buzzed. New message from Kyle, HQ. "You weren't supposed to deliver that package. The route isn't over. Do not stop driving." And then, my brakes failed. There's something uniquely terrifying about slamming the brake pedal to the floor and hearing nothing but a squishy click, followed by the van whispering, "Nah." I was flying down some back road in a cursed Amazon Sprinter with the speedometer creeping toward 70 and no working brakes. The red package? Gone. Delivered. The rules? Broken. My pants? Questionable. I cranked the wheel hard and narrowly missed a raccoon that didn't flinch, didn't blink, just watched me pass like it knew. Like it was judging me. My phone buzzed again. Kyle, HQ. Stay calm. You've broken a rule, but there's still a way out. Just keep driving until you reach the next stop. Don't open any windows, no matter what you hear. "Stop texting me weird riddles and send a tow truck," I screamed into the rearview mirror, which I now noticed was vibrating slightly. Probably from stress, or maybe demons. Either way, not good. The GPS lit up again, glowing an unnatural green now, and barked, "Next stop, 933 Ash Mill Road. ETA, 17 minutes. Great, just 17 more minutes in a brakeless death missile being haunted by, what? Ancient eldritch shipping gods?" The radio turned on by itself and began playing some static-laced country song. I swear the lyrics were something like, "Take me down to the last known route, where the drivers go to scream it out." I punched the radio. It didn't help. Then I saw it. Something in the passenger seat. At first I thought it was just the crumpled glove box note. But no, this was something new. A letter, handwritten in shaky block letters on aged paper. It said, "House 44 was a prison. You let it out. Your job now is to trap it again." I tossed it out the window immediately. Rule check. Don't open windows. Me. Welp. The moment the glass cracked open, I heard it. Whispers. Faint at first, then sharper, like a dozen people arguing underwater. The cold rushed in, thick and heavy. And then, a hand shot through the opening. Long, pale fingers again, but this time with tiny barcodes etched into each one like tattoos. It latched onto the doorframe. I screamed like a toddler getting surprise shots at the doctor's office and rolled the window up so fast it caught the thing's wrist and snapped it clean off. The hand fell into my lap and twitched once, twice, then turned into dust. I had dust hand in my pants and tears in my eyes. Why didn't I just work at Lowe's? I muttered. Then, as if on cue, a massive thud came from the back of the van, followed by dragging sounds. Something or someone was in the cargo area. I remembered Rule 2. If you hear breathing in the back of the van, do not open the cargo doors. I hadn't opened them, but they opened themselves. Again. This time, I didn't look. I cranked up the radio, even though it was now just static with occasional snippets of whispering. It's behind you. Behind you. La 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 la, I don't hear you, I shouted, eyes locked on the road. My hands were white-knuckled on the wheel, steering with the precision of a caffeinated squirrel. Ashmill Road came into view. It was a cul-de-sac with fog around the edges. Not thick like before, just enough to say, "Hey, we're still watching you." I skidded to a halt. Miraculously, guess the brakes came back out of pity. In front of a small blue house with a porch swing and a gnome holding a welcome sign. Innocent, right? Until the gnome blinked. I stepped out, cautiously, and checked the last few packages. All normal, except one. The box was labeled, "Return to Sender." The sender? House 44. My legs nearly gave out. I held the box like it was a ticking bomb. I didn't know what was inside, but it felt cold. Not like freezer cold. Coffin cold. I looked at the blue house. The door creaked open on its own. A woman stood in the doorway, smiling sweetly. Too sweet. The kind of sweet that gives you cavities and existential dread. "Oh, thank goodness," she said. "I was expecting that." "No offense, ma'am," I said, "but if this is from House 44, maybe you shouldn't..." She yanked the box from my hands, still smiling. "We've been trying to get it back for years." I took a step back. "Wait, you're returning it? What is it?" Her smile faded just a bit. "You'll see soon enough." Then she closed the door. The porch light snapped off. I jogged back to the van. This route had gone from creepy to full-on Lovecraftian FedEx, and I was done. Just as I started the engine, the gnome on her porch turned to face me. Its mouth opened, and it spoke. "You have one more stop, and then your shift really begins." I've seen some things, man. I've seen a toddler projectile vomit an entire Go-Gurt onto a Target cashier. I've watched my Uncle Randy try to start a bonfire with gasoline and burn off both eyebrows. I even once dated a girl who thought birds weren't real. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for a porch gnome looking me dead in the eye and saying, "Your shift really begins now." I peeled out of that cul-de-sac like I was trying to escape a haunted HOA. My tires screamed, gravel flew, and I shouted back, "Nope, no new shift, I quit. This van is now a donation to Satan." The GPS glowed a sickly green and dinged. "Final stop?" Great, real helpful. The screen blinked and showed only a symbol. A spiral. Not an address. Not coordinates. Just a slow-spinning black and white spiral that looked like it belonged on a VHS tape labeled, "Do not watch unless you want nightmares." I smacked the screen. "Just give me a dang street name." It pulsed once, then whispered, through the speakers. "Drive toward the place that doesn't exist. You'll know it when you feel like you're not supposed to be there." "Oh good," I muttered. Vague ghost riddles. Exactly what I need right now. I turned out onto the main road and let the GPS guide me, the spiral spinning faster with every turn I took. The streetlights began thinning out. Then they disappeared altogether. And that's when the air changed. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't temperature. It wasn't smell. It was like the air got heavier, like gravity had opinions. The sky above me was suddenly cloudless, starless, and wrong. Just a big slab of black, like someone had put a giant tarp over the world. Then I saw it. A single road sign standing crooked on the side of an unmarked road. Welcome to nowhere. Below it, a smaller sign read, Amazon Drop Zone 7B. I stopped the van. I shouldn't have, but I did. The engine sputtered once and died. I sat in total silence. No crickets, no wind. Just the sound of my heart trying to escape through my hoodie. And then, a soft knock on the cargo door. Knock, knock, knock. Rule 2 came back to me like a slap in the face. Don't open the cargo doors if you hear breathing. But I didn't hear breathing this time. I heard crying. A soft, muffled weeping from the back of the van. It sounded like a kid, a little girl, maybe 7 or 8. Help, she sobbed. It's so dark in here. Now listen, I'm a sucker for dogs, kids, and burnt ends, but I'm also not stupid. Nope, I said out loud, aiming my words at whatever eldritch drama queen was trying to pull a fast one. There are rules, and I'm not breaking another one. I've broken like 3 already. I don't even know if I'm still alive right now. The crying stopped. Then came a low voice, raspy, like someone gargling gravel. You were warned. Suddenly, the back of the van groaned, metal bent inward. Something huge was pressing against it, warping the doors. I floored the gas pedal. Nothing. Dead engine. I turned the key. The van coughed once, twice, then came back to life like it had been jump-started by pure fear. I gunned it down the road into nowhere. I swear the trees were watching me. Not just rustling in the wind, turning, tilting, following. At the end of the road stood a single building. Brick, no windows, one big steel door. Spray painted above it was the Amazon Smile logo, but it was upside down. In front of the door was a single package. Plain, brown, no label. I stepped out slowly. The van's lights flickered behind me, then shut off completely. As I approached the box, my breath fogged, though the air wasn't cold, and I noticed something strange. My reflection in the metal door wasn't moving with me. I reached down to touch the box, and it spoke. Take me inside. I screamed and punted that box like I was trying out for the NFL. It landed with a soft thud, and the door opened. Not swung, not creaked. Opened, like a mouth. Inside was pitch black. The air pulled toward it like a vacuum. Then my phone buzzed. Kyle, HQ. You've reached the final drop zone. Go inside. Leave the phone behind. If you survive, the van is yours. Me? Survive? I barely made it through a Chipotle shift once without crying. But the door stayed open, waiting. And behind me, the van locked itself. The package I kicked was back, sitting politely by my foot, smiling. Again. The package had returned to my feet like an obedient hellhound, still smiling, still pulsing like it had a heartbeat, still acting like it didn't just try to possess me with the voice of 1,000 dying dial-up modems. Behind me, the Amazon van locked itself with a K-chunk that echoed down the road like a coffin lid sealing shut. In front of me, the doorway, pitch black, breathing. I swear it was breathing. The text from Kyle still glared on my phone screen. Go inside. Leave the phone. If you survive, the van is yours. Wow. Real motivational, Kyle. This is why people hate upper management. I took a deep breath, tossed my phone into the van, along with my common sense, picked up the package, and walked inside the mouth door of Drop Zone 7B like a man entering the world's worst unboxing video. The instant I crossed the threshold, the door slammed behind me. I was in a long hallway, dimly lit. Fluorescent bulbs buzzed above, flickering like they were trying to communicate in Morse code. The walls were lined with mirrors, but none of them reflected me. They reflected the van. Van 22 in different places, parked in driveways, in forests, outside burning buildings, in front of hospitals. One had it sitting in the middle of a lake, slowly sinking. Another showed the van, driving itself. And in every reflection, the driver's seat was empty. I kept walking, clutching the package like it was a newborn and I was a terrified uncle. That's when the intercom crackled above me. Employee 13,113, proceed to your final task. A light turned on above a steel door ahead. It read, Returns Processing. The package started to hum. I opened the door slowly and immediately gagged. The room smelled like hot pennies and sour milk. It was massive, filled with conveyor belts, each one moving by itself. All of them were loaded with identical brown boxes. No labels, no barcodes. Just one word written on each in red ink. Returned. A figure stood at the far end, dressed in an Amazon vest that looked burned and melted into its skin. Its face was wrong. A smile stretched too far. No nose. One single, massive barcode tattooed across its forehead. It turned to me and said, Package, please. I froze. Who exactly are you? I'm what's left when a driver breaks too many rules, it replied. I returned one too many. Things. The lights dimmed. All the boxes on the conveyor belts began to open. From each one, hands reached out. Some small, some too long, some clawed. They didn't grab. They waved. At me. I didn't sign up for this, I mumbled. You signed the manifest, the figure hissed. That was enough. The red package in my arm squirmed, then leapt from my grip and landed on the conveyor belt by itself. It spun around. The paper peeled back. Inside was me. Not a picture, not a mirror. A tiny, breathing version of me, screaming silently. The figure tilted its head. You are already returned. No, I muttered, backing away. But the conveyors were speeding up now. The boxes were flying past, hundreds of them, and they were all watching me. The intercom buzzed again. Final task, load the return van. A door on the side wall burst open, and another Sprinter van reversed into the room with screeching tires. It was identical to mine, except the Amazon smile was upside down, and in the windshield, written in dust, were the words, Drive me back. The figure gestured toward the door. You want out? You deliver the returns. All of them. I looked at the sea of boxes. Endless. Forever. No way. It stepped forward. Then we'll deliver you. The room shook. The boxes began crawling. I ran, not toward the van. Back out the way I came. The hallway warped around me. Walls bent, mirrors shattered. One of them showed me aging rapidly. Another showed me delivering a box to a crying woman who screamed when she saw what was inside. Another showed me working a normal shift, in daylight, no monsters, no rules, just packages. And in that reflection, I looked peaceful. I dove into that mirror without thinking. The world went white. And I landed. I landed face first on a sidewalk. Real sidewalk. Cool cement. Freshly mowed lawn. Somewhere a sprinkler clicked on. A car drove by playing Taylor Swift at an aggressive volume. I sat up, blinking at the sunlight. Sunlight. It was morning. No fog. No possessed vans. No haunted porches or gnome cults. Just a quiet cul-de-sac. A guy walking his corgi, and a little old lady sweeping her driveway like the world wasn't teetering on the edge of eldritch chaos. And there behind me, van 22. Back to normal. Paint faded. Mirror still cracked. Amazon smile right side up. My phone was on the ground beside me. Buzzing. Kyle, HQ. Congrats. Route complete. Nice work surviving. You're eligible for permanent assignment? Van 22 is nu van jou. Key fob will work anywhere. Just follow the rules. I stared at the message, dumbfounded. Then I looked at the glove box. Slowly opened it. Inside was the same yellowed rules sheet, but it had changed. Now it read, Rules for Van 22. Permanent driver protocol. If the van disappears from where you parked it, do not look for it. It'll find you. Never let anyone ride with you. They might not leave. If you find a package already in the van at the start of your shift, burn it. Don't deliver it. On foggy mornings, drive with your eyes closed until the music starts. If another driver ever knocks on your window asking for help, you're already too late. There was a new line at the bottom. Thank you for choosing Amazon Eternal Logistics. I closed the glove box very, very gently. Then, like an idiot, I looked in the back of the van. It was empty, except for one small box, brown, unmarked, and already open. Inside, my Amazon vest, folded, neatly, like someone expected me to put it back on. I stared at it, then slowly reached in and grabbed it. It was warm, not creepy warm, just, familiar. I threw it on over my hoodie, got in the driver's seat, and sat there for a long time. Then the GPS turned on. Next route available. Begin shift? It hovered on yes or no. I hovered my finger over no, and hit yes. Because here's the thing no one tells you. After a while, the weird stuff, it stops feeling weird. You get used to the long nights, the wrong addresses, the things knocking from inside sealed boxes, the van occasionally whispering your name when you're stuck in traffic. You start to like the job. Because for every haunted neighborhood and cursed gnome, there's a peaceful moment too. Delivering a package to an old man who calls you champ. Getting a thumbs up from a dad juggling 3 toddlers. Or sitting at a stop sign at 3 a.m., alone with your thoughts in your van, and just feeling like you're exactly where you're supposed to be, even if that place technically doesn't exist. The next few nights were manageable. Sure, the van occasionally made chewing noises when I wasn't looking. The steering wheel twitched on its own, and once I swear I saw teeth in the air vent. But I followed the rules. I stayed in my lane, literally and metaphorically, and things felt okay. Until Tuesday night, the van was already running when I got to the warehouse, which it never does. The key fob buzzed in my pocket like it was nervous. I climbed inside and checked the cargo. Only one package, wrapped in white cloth. I didn't touch it. Instead, I pulled out the rule sheet and read every line again. There was a new one, freshly scribbled at the bottom in smudged ink. Rule 6. Tonight is your final evaluation. Don't screw it up. Cool. No pressure or anything. The GPS turned on and immediately said, first and only stop, 0 Horizon Drive. Now there is no Horizon Drive, anywhere. I Googled it, MapQuested it, even asked Siri. Nothing. But the GPS blinked, turned red, and said, rerouting is no longer an option. I sighed and hit the road. The van drove like it was gliding. I wasn't steering. It was. We drifted through neighborhoods that looked warped. Like someone tried to rebuild a suburb from memory and got the measurements wrong. Houses too narrow, trees too tall, streets that looped back on themselves. And then we stopped. No house, just a clearing. A circle of grass surrounded by towering pine trees that bent in toward the center like they were eavesdropping. In the middle stood a door. No house, no frame. Just a freestanding, rotting wooden door with a brass knob. I stepped out. The air was cold and thick like breathing soup. The van's headlights dimmed on their own, then shut off completely. Behind me, I heard the click of the cargo doors unlocking. I turned slowly. The white-wrapped package floated out on its own. No strings, no tricks. It hovered past me, over the grass, and up to the door. The door opened, and from inside came the voice of Kyle. Not Chipper Kyle, not Bluetooth Kyle, but something older. Something wearing Kyle's voice, like a mask. Driver 13,113. You've completed your probationary route. The doorframe glowed softly. Would you like to become full-time? I didn't know what to say. I flipped burgers, washed trucks, sold bootleg fireworks out of a van in Kansas. But nothing prepared me for this moment. I looked around. The trees weren't moving, but they were watching. I looked back at van 22. It purred like a contented beast. Then I said the words I wasn't sure were mine. Yes. The door swallowed the package whole. The knob turned, and everything went black. I woke up the next day in my driveway. Van 22 parked perfectly beside the house, a crisp new vest folded on the dash, and a laminated card with my new title, Eternal Logistics Specialist, Van 22, Division, Unknown. I tried to quit. I emailed Kyle, called HR, drove the van back to the warehouse. Each time the same thing happened. I'd wake up the next morning, with the van in the driveway, packages in the back, route already loaded. Now I just deliver. Quietly. Carefully. Never asking questions. Never breaking rules. Because van 22 is mine now, and I am never not on the clock.